Rob, market's looking a little bit better today.
Yes, market a little bit stronger. We've had very weak volume though over the last week, and I think that as this market ticks up and people start to make a little bit of money, they start to sell straight away, and that's really because of all the different concerns with Libya in the Arab world and Japan as well. So the earthquake there. So every time it starts to pick up a little bit of momentum, there's some negative story comes out from Japan or from the Middle East, and you see a sell-off again. So quite thin volume and very choppy over the last week or two.
Still a few stocks moving in the right direction today. We have Massmart, and this is a story that's been in the news for quite some time, and it's going to be in the news for quite some time to come. Those shares have picked up, though, nicely, back around that 136 Rand level. What's the market telling us about this Walmart Massmart deal? Does it believe it's going to go ahead?
I think the market looks like it does see it going through. I think that we saw that initially when the tribunal was pushed out to May, the share price collapsed all the way back from about 140 all the way down to about 132. And as Massmart said that they definitely do want this deal to go through, and even though there are problems in Namibia, we've seen that share price tick up from 132 to 136 now, 136.50. So it does look like they really are pushing for this deal to go through, and we're just going to have to wait through to May. So it is a slightly longer period, but it looks like the buy-in is coming back in there, and that deal could go through.
We also had shares in platinum producers, including Anglo Platinum and Impala, recovering today after yesterday's heavy sell-off. So do you think a bit of a knee-jerk reaction yesterday to news of that Zimbabwe indigenization law?
Well, I don't think it's really a knee-jerk. I think that they've got a double whammy on the platinum side, is that with Japan and the earthquake, a lot of the car producers have closed their plants. A lot of the catalytic converters and a lot of the platinum goes to Japan. So they've got that on the one side, as well as they've got now the Zimplat. They've got 45 days to sell virtually 51% of the company, and it's the valuation of what they have to sell it at to the government, which is problematic. So I think that there's a lot of pressure and a lot of headways for the platinum producers at the moment, and I would probably stay out of there in the short term.
Though at 193 Impala Platinum, this is a share that lagged the market last year. All the platinum producers, in fact, lagging the market last year. So they're really still trading at 2009 levels, aren't they?
Yes, I think it traded down at 186 yesterday, Impala, and that was close down to the 2009 levels. It did hit a high last year of 243, so very considerably off from those levels, and I think that it will battle to get through 200 until they get some clarity from the Japan as well as from Zimbabwe. So beyond 200 Rand it will be very difficult, and the upside very small at the moment for Implats.
Another trend we have seen over the past few sessions is a move back into some of the pharmaceutical groups, and these are groups that have been under pressure as well over the past month or two. Does this tell us that investors are looking at more defensive counters at this stage?
It does look like they're switching back into some of those more defensive stocks. We saw Adcock Ingram, Aspen Pharmaceuticals and Cipla be sold off over the last month aggressively. Aspen came from the mid-90s all the way down to the low, into the 70s, and so we've seen some buying coming back in the last few days. But all three of the stocks are up about 3% over the last 3 days and looking really firm. So it definitely does look like people are coming for some more defensive stocks again, and a bit of a cyclical turn into defensives again.
We had results out of Cashbuild this morning. Profits down 21% for the period. If you strip out the BEE costs of a transaction they had, 50 million Rand I think it was, then earnings actually up 48% and the dividend also up 48%.
Yes, a big increase in the dividend there of 48%, so very good for shareholders. I think Cashbuild as a whole is a very good company, it's run very well, and in a very difficult market still produced an increase in revenue of 7.9%. So really firm on that side. They still expect a good second half to the year. Solid result from Cashbuild, and I think a lot of the long-term asset managers are in there and will be picking up a bit more stock.
I suppose if you compare it to some of the other construction companies and the material companies as well, doing a whole lot better. We're expecting numbers out of PPC later this week, and they've already indicated that they will have a 30% fall in profits.
Yes, there really is a cash business, Cashbuild, and they've got a lot of cash on hand, very little debt. Compared to the bigger construction firms and PPC, etc., which have got lots of debt on their book and not getting necessarily paid from the very big construction contracts that they have. Whereas Cashbuild, it's money in straight away and stock out the door, so very good business and looking very solid.
Media group Avusa up 18% yesterday to 25 Rand and still holding quite steady around those levels today. It came out with a cautionary late yesterday confirming that it had an approach made by a consortium including Capitau Holdings. What do you make of that?
Well, you have to get more information. They've stated today that it's in very early talks and very beginning start of negotiations. 18% is a very big move up right at the beginning. There will be a lot of opportunity cost to holding that share at these levels. I wouldn't be buying it right now at 18% up. If the share does drop back again, I'll take a look at it again. But at these levels, I would stay away from it.
Well, Metrox also out with the cautionary yesterday. So, do you think it could also be becoming an acquisition target?
Yes, I think that they've managed that business over a very difficult 2 years. They recapitalized twice around the R2 and the R2.40 level, and they've managed to get through the worst of the market collapse, and looking really good. The assets are very good in the Congo as well as Zambia. And I think possibly there's a good chance that one of the bigger miners will come to get that asset from them. So they're in a cautionary, we'll have to wait and see, but possibly a big miner coming to get that copper asset.
Who in particular do you think could be interested in a company like Metrox, Rob?
I think Rio Tinto will look at it, Xstrata could also look at it. They're still trying to grow into Africa as well. Anglo-American possibly will take a look at it, although they've got very big copper assets in South America, so they might not need those. So I think a Rio Tinto or Xstrata.
And then Capitec, finally, let's end with that one. That share price up 4.5% yesterday, around 170 Rand. This is a share that's really gone great guns over the past year, coming out with numbers tomorrow, I think.
Yes, unbelievable from Capitec. I think at 171 Rand they're fully priced. They'll have to come out with results that say to the market that they're going to carry on growing at that pace. I think it'll be very difficult for them to grow at that pace. I think fully valued at 171, but they do always surprise on the upside. So we'll just have to wait and see for those results tomorrow.